global controls will have to be imposed, and a world governing body will be created to enforce them. Crises precipitate change.
Secretly plotting your demise. I want to devise a virus.
Hello everyone, Darko 2012 here with Global Government News, and I'm covering an article from a website called politicsdaily.com, and this article is titled Karl Rove Admits Mistake in Advising Bush on Iraq Invasion Response. And this is from March 3rd, 2010, and this is of course implying that he knew that there was no weapons of mass destruction, even though Bush was running around, Colin Powell was running around just telling everybody that, hey, these guys are going to nuke us, they're going to kill us, right? They're going to blow us up. So then, of course, that was the pretense that was set to invade Iraq and have a political changeover to a, quote, democracy. And shotgun democracy. And so you can say whatever you want as far as their motives of going in there, whether they're actually neocons or whether it's just a good old-fashioned establishment that really doesn't have any kind of ties as far as conservatism, neoconservatism, communism, or liberalism, right? They're just, when you get down to it, their overall goal is a international scientific dictatorship leaning more towards communism, but pure communism in the sense of economically will not work, and they understand that. So it's a mix between fascism and communism, and so that's what we have here in the United States, and that's what the stupid sheeple, I'm sorry, but that's just what they think. Well, that's what they don't understand, is that that's what it's really is. That's the political system that we're living under, and the sooner they realize that, the better off we will all be, because then we'll start to look for possible parties that are not the Republican Party or the Democrat Party. They start to look outside that, right, into third parties, and of course. They understand this, the establishment understands this, and that's why they have documents, memorandums, kind of sent down the pipeline from Homeland Security calling you a possible terrorist if you're looking into third parties. Just look at the MEAC report that was disseminated down to the Missouri State Police, and you'll see that I'm right. Karl Rove, the White House advisor whom Bush W., or George W. Bush, called his political architect, admits in a new memoir that the failure to find weapons of mass destruction in Iraq severely damaged the Bush presidency, and he suggests the war might not have occurred had Bush actually known the truth. And this, of course, is implying that Bush actually ran things. It was all coming from his mind, and that he made the calls. No, he is a puppet. He just signs away our liberties and bring us into further debt and wars and bloodshed. That's his only role. And it says, of his role, Rove writes that the biggest mistake was not pushing back against claims that the president had led the country into the Iraq war under false pretenses. And it says, if Bush had known about the absence of weapons of mass destruction, Rove questions whether the United States would have gone to war. According to an excerpt quoted by the New York Times, quote, would the Iraq war have occurred without WMDs? I doubt it, Rove writes. Quote, Congress was very unlikely to have supported the use of force resolution without the WMD threat. The Bush administration itself would probably have sought other ways to constrain Saddam, bring about regime change, and deal with Iraq's horrendous human rights violations. Okay. I'm not even going to go into our drone bombings of innocent civilians in the Middle East, because I think that's self-explanatory. The lingering perception that the war was unjustified hurt Bush's credibility and diminished support for the war in Iraq, Rove says, according to the AP, which obtained advance copy of the book, quote, Courage and Consequence, and first reported on it. When the pattern of democratic attacks became apparent in July 2003, we should have countered in a forceful and overwhelming way, he says in material quoted by the Washington Post, quote, "We should have seen this for what it was, a poison-tipped dagger aimed at the heart of the Bush presidency." And Rove devotes space in the memoir to the 2005 hurricane that devastated states along the Gulf Coast and put most of New Orleans underwater. Bush was sharply criticized for the federal government's slow response to the disaster. He made matters worse than he commended FEMA Director Michael Brown for doing a heck of a job. That line became a fodder for the ridicule of late-night comedians and a catchphrase for critics who thought the Bush administration was incompetent and detached. And also, you can go and do your research and see that FEMA was actually caught cutting power lines while all this was going down. So yeah, and they were testing and throwing them into had them go in a nice little dome where they issue them their cards with credits on them. And yeah, they were knocking over old ladies and gun confiscating. Yeah, that was a test run, guys. So, but I'm sure a lot of you already are aware of that. But Rove blames state and local officials for bungling the recovery, especially then Louisiana Governor Catherine Blanco and then New Orleans Mayor Ray Nagin, both Democrats. Yet he also concedes, quote, "The White House was too passive for too long. In the early days of the disaster, Louisiana failures became our failures anyway." Okay, I got what he's saying here. The Texas native, now a Fox News analyst, also took a swipe at President Obama in the book, calling him the stereotype of the Chicago politician, playing fast and loose with the facts. On the international stage, Rove maintains the 2003 invasion was the momentous act of the Bush presidency and the right response to September 9/11 terrorist attacks, even though Iraqi leader Saddam Hussein wasn't responsible. So see, yeah, we went into Iraq because that was the whole freaking deal, was that when they couldn't find the WMDs, what did they say, guys? The claim was that according to the Pentagon and according to Colin Powell, and according to the president, according to all of his little minions like Rove, was that Saddam, it was Saddam, he was responsible for 9/11. No, it was Bin Laden. No, it was Al Qaeda, and no, it was. Okay, we're going to say Saddam Hussein because we can't really show you that they had weapons of mass destruction and that they really didn't even have the capability, because after 1991, 92, the first Gulf War, they had basically went in there and, because we had supplied them all those weapons, let's not shit a shitter here. It was Rumsfeld and Cheney, who were back in the 80s, that helped supply Iraq with all these biological chemical weapons to fight Iran, right? Because this is a bigger thing that's going on, far bigger than any of us, right? So if you widen you expand your perception here, you can look back and see that this whole Iran thing's been going on since the 50s, when the CIA was staging coups and all that. So yeah, I mean, and so yeah, in the 80s they were doing the same thing. So we just went in there and during 92, and we made sure that all the weapons that all the goodies that we gave him, we took back, or we made sure that he wasn't producing and had the capability of producing all of those weapons anymore. So yes, he definitely didn't have that. Intelligence knew that. They were getting reports that he didn't have weapons of mass destruction, but it doesn't really matter. They just said, hey, Saddam, you're responsible for 9/11, and so we're gonna go in and we're gonna take you out. And so, of course, what they have, the civilians, took out this ruthless, evil regime that was able to hold Shiites and Sunnis together, and Kurds. And I'm not going to go into the Kurd things. I know what happened with that. But besides that, for the most part, in the 90s, all the way into 2000, right, they, for the most part, they had running water and they had electricity. And there wasn't, humongous bombings going on, right? So I'm not praising Saddam Hussein. I'm not saying it was great, but I'm just saying what we're doing now isn't helping them. So you can go and read it's pretty much the last part. That's pretty much it. So I just want to make sure I stated that. But thanks everybody for checking this out.